All right, hello and welcome back. Part 3B of however many parts we go. They tried to shut us down, Rhode Island College, but they have failed. I will delete my Discord so the noises don't happen this time. And we are away with the Portland Trail Blazers, a team firmly in hell that has decided to start Scoot Henderson on the bench,
Yeah,
which
not
is
a
kind of the first story of the year with them.
yeah, probably already a red flag as far as how they evaluate Scoot as a talent.
Scoot Henderson, most famous for being one of Bill Simmons' guys, and Bill Simmons immediately getting that as wrong as he possibly could have. I think he's missed like every draft evaluation he's done. It's
Yeah,
almost charming.
yeah. I mean, I'm pretty amateur at all these evaluations, and there's certain guys I got right 2 years ago, I guess now, two drafts ago. Derek Lively, Kason Wallace, Alan Thompson, all accept my flowers for those. But Scoot, I thought he was really only a tier or two below Wembanyama as a prospect. And yeah, no, he doesn't have it. He's speed running the latter half of Russ Westbrook's career. Yeah, it just goes to show there are such a thing as quad A guys in the NBA. He's always looked great against lesser talent, whether it's the G League or against the New Zealand team they played in the preseason. But in the actual NBA, doesn't shoot well, doesn't finish at the rim the way you'd expect with someone's athleticism, too short to defend effectively. He's all right at passing, he's all right at rebounding, but the skill is not there. And I don't know if it's going to develop. And I will say, I think he's uh, the construction of this Trailblazers team is not to his benefit. They have too many guards. They have no real wing players. I mean, Jeremy Grant, I don't know if he's really a four. DeAndre Ayton, I mean, does not give a shit. He has never,
Domination.
yeah, dominating. Yeah. The fact that the Suns, with like basically no center depth, felt that he was expendable tells you everything you need to know about him. They traded for Denny Avdija for no apparent reason. I mean, he's a decent player, he's a good connecting piece, but again, not a fit on this roster. I couldn't tell you who their actual lead guard is. I mean, I guess it's technically Scoop, but again, they have him coming off the bench.
I mean,
Yeah,
Simons is going to get a lot of run.
I guess, but I don't.
Going to be playing like the
I've never
most
been
minutes.
sold on Simons or Shaden Sharp being as good as their public perception. And now Sharp's shoulders seems like it could be fucked. It's his like
Yeah,
second or
that's
third
right. He's out
shoulder
at least
injury.
9 games
Yeah, it's like his second.
mid-November.
And it's a recurring shoulder injury. Like I've beaten the drum for a while that shoulder injuries are an underappreciated career killer in the NBA. Markel Fultz came in pre-broken because of his shoulder. We still don't know how Jaw is going to look coming back from his shoulder injury. It shouldn't be a surprise. You have to do a lot of rotator cuff motions as a basketball player, and I think it's safe to just write Shaden Sharp off now. And I don't know this. You are correct. This Blazers team, I think, is probably the third worst in the league. I mean, it's certainly not as bad as the Wizards or the Nets, but there's no plan here. The Henderson pick already looks like a whiff. I think drafting Klingon where they did. I like Klingon as a player, but like, what's his role on this team? You don't need a Steven Adams on this team. You need a Carl Anthony Towns or something. And yeah, we are a long way from the peak of the Dame McCollum pre Achilles use of Nurkic years. Yeah, the Blazers are not good, and I do not see them being good in the foreseeable future.
Yeah, so I don't want to talk too bad about the Blazers. I was about to, but Portland might be nice. I've seen Green Book. That didn't seem nice, but or Green Room. Green Book wasn't nice either, but I'm related to the guy who made it. so I can't talk too badly about it. But Portland might be fine. But I think if I can go full me brain, the Blazers kind of remind me of like a character George R. R. Martin would create because he needs something to happen in the plot that the character isn't maybe fully thought out. That's where I am with the Blazers. They basically just existed to give the Celtics the title last year.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
another reason to be mad at them. I
and
mean,
when you look deeper into it and try and figure out like why they did it, it feels like there's just an author who needed something to happen.
yeah, I
Because it
mean,
was just so bad.
if you were
I
ever
mean, I
going to
really can't
believe,
forgive them for that.
if you were ever going to
I
believe
mean,
in
I
the sort
can.
of,
I love that they did it for me, but like as an objective fan,
yeah, if you're going to believe in the rigged nature of the NBA, I mean, I think the Trailblazers return after flipping Dame to the Bucks and then getting Drew and then flipping him. And what did they even get? It was like Robert Williams, who's never
Robert Williams,
healthy.
who's still out for a
Yeah.
while. I mean, the more reasonable metaphor, the less me metaphor is a poker player on tilt, which is what happened to the leadership in Portland when Dame asked out. They just
Yeah.
went on full tilt.
Yeah. And
There was a
another,
moment when our friend Brendo ruined a league I was in once by going on that amount of tilt and trading the five-time champion like Freddie Freeman for nothing. That's
you love to see
basically what
it.
Portland did.
And I'm going to
And I
say,
loved it. But
yeah. And I'm also going to say, like, there's an assumption in sports that a front office is doing things sort of clear-headed, which I think is
yup,
just
it's
explicitly
not
not
true. They're
true.
made up of
And
people. It's like a
right,
government.
I would also say that the Blazers, I don't know who their front office is. I don't know who their GM is. They may just be bad at their jobs. They
And
may
I know
just
they
not
text with
be.
Bill Simmons, so they can't be that smart.
Yeah, no, that is news to me. And I'm going to say maybe the dumbest front office group in the league outside of, I assume, the Chicago Bulls is just always the worst.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean the Bulls are bad.
they are far to the right here on the well. We didn't do the
They're
over
all the
under
way.
yet, did we? I would say
It's
they're all the
21 and a
way.
half right now. They
I
are
I'd
all
take
the
I
way
would take the
here.
under on that.
I
They're
would
they're going to be pretty
smash the
bad.
under.
Yeah, you would smash the under like a Mormon older Mormon woman cheating on her husband, as
Well,
alluded to in the Discord.
maybe I said that, maybe I did. I don't know.
Waylon is going to go Zach Wilson mode soon here, folks,
Never.
and we encourage him that.
I neither confirm nor deny anything I ever said on Discord. I'm gonna put them. The question is, I do think the front office deserves it. I think
Mm,
Portland fans are by and large fine.
yeah,
Uh, and I think the team should be cool. They didn't freak out over Dame. I hated the Dame move. I would have been, I think they have every right to be angry at him. And they
yeah.
really weren't. So respect. But I mean, I could bump them above the Wizards or below based on where you
I mean, they're
want to go. I
probably
think
like
they're
the
pretty mid.
same. I think they're probably like the same tier as the Wizards, to be honest, which is tricky because they'll be covered up at this point. So I don't know. Maybe
Yeah,
put
I
them like a.
need, I don't know who.
We can put Washington a little bit below, just so we factor in sort of the stereotypes of the people living there. Like I
That's
know people
true. They don't
find
deserve. I
Portland
like DC, but they
Port
don't deserve anything.
Yeah, Portland fans, I think people find them annoying sometimes, especially in the MLS context. But I think that's just a symptom of
It's
MLS
the
fandom.
MLS. That's the
Yeah.
MLS. That's everyone.
And like DC, like like I've said in our last episode where we covered Washington, like there are normal people there, but then there's also people involved in the government or the military or
If
defense
Boston is
industry.
going to
And
suffer
those,
the
yeah,
reputation we do for our fans in our area, DC has to take their
I
licks.
agree. I agree. Like
Same with Philly.
if you're going to judge all of Boston fans on like Southies, then you need to judge all of Washington fans on like defense
Yeah,
contractor guys. So yeah, they probably should be bumped down and Portland bumped up. But I think we're done talking about the Trailblazers. They will not be, but barring significant lotto luck in the next couple of years, they will
they
not
don't
be
have the mandate
relevant.
of heaven.
They do not have the mandate of heaven. Okay. The
Okay, I want to start this.
Phoenix
Speaking of
Suns.
teams we shouldn't be speaking of, I sent you this, but I haven't talked to anyone else about it. I saw a video saying we need to be talking more about the Phoenix Suns. Wrong. We need to be thinking less about this team. This
Hmm.
team is not important.
No,
I took Booker in fantasy. I like Durant. He's a weirdo. I like him.
he is
But
a
this
true
team,
poster.
and look, this team's kind of a trendy. Some people have picked them to go to the finals.
Yeah,
I would
but like you,
argue that's a bad decision.
I would agree. I think people think that way because they feel like the Mavericks made it, and therefore you can a team that is too superstar heavy can make it as well. But I ignore the
That's
fact that the
one thing. And then if you
Mavericks,
pick the Celtics, you want an original pick.
right,
And the Celtics
yeah,
look pretty great.
yeah, and like the Mavericks, I think people sort of ignore they actually had pretty good depth last year, especially at the center position. And I feel like when you see the Suns depth chart laid out, you start to understand this is a two-person team and frequently a one-person team because Kevin Durant is not especially durable. I think
So
Beal,
you're kicking out Beal.
he has always been massively overrated.
Yeah, I agree.
Now he's also hurt all the time. I don't understand. Tyus Jones is fine, but people are acting like he's going to completely transform the offense, and they needed a real point guard. You don't need a real point guard when Kevin Durant is on your team. Nurkic has been not terrible, but he's been bad since the Achilles tear. It's a waste. And then their
Neither of us
depth,
believe in him holding up.
no, not at all. And the depth is just, I mean, look at this. This is
I don't think
people.
Grayson Allen is a good. He should be higher up here.
Grace, I mean,
He's basically the
probably,
sixth
yeah,
man.
yeah.
I
Which
don't
if
think
that
he's a good one.
no, that tells you where they're at. I mean, your
I
best,
think Royce O'Neal too old.
yeah,
Um, Mason Plumlee is 35. I
I
think
know. This team fails the Bol
Monty
Bol
Morris is
test.
old.
Yeah, this team fails the Bol Bol test. Where if you're Bol Bol is a very fun player to watch because he is a lot like his old man, just a string bean who should not be out there, but still does like one impressive thing a game. But if he's the kind of player getting serious minutes, and he will probably play 10 to 15 minutes a night on this team once
Yep, that's
Nurkic is
exactly
hurt,
what I'm seeing projected.
they they are failing the bubble test. I don't see this team making a deep playoff run. They could potentially make the Eastern Conference final, but like you're betting on too many things happening here. Let's shift to the over under.
Yeah, it's tricky because I do truly like Durant. And I
I do
would like
too.
to
I do
see him
too.
have a run.
And
Their
I
over under
think, yeah.
is 48 and a half, which I'm trying to think where that puts them right around the Bucks.
Oh, 48 and
What's
a half. What I always like thinking of these in terms of winning percentages. So
yeah, so
48.
it's
That's a 58. It's a 0.585 winning percentage, which like, oh man. That's one where the
puts them
bookies,
right
I
with the
think.
Cavs.
Yeah, and they're in the West. Yeah, I mean, I don't. If you told me they were all going to be healthy for 60 plus games, I'd take the over, but I can't trust that. I think I'm taking the under on that. I think people are going to be surprised when someone crucial misses 30 games and it just screws up the team.
Right. It's entirely possible I was really critical of the Grizzlies in our episode, and shout out to me if I was, but their over under is 2 games less. And
Yeah.
I would take Memphis, honestly.
I don't, well, no,
Um,
because I don't trust Memphis's health either. I mean, they're already banged up. Also, I
yeah,
like that you
but
record these streams in a dissociative state, so you don't actually remember what you said.
I don't remember anything I did. I do a bunch. I don't remember a thing
Fair,
anymore.
yeah,
Been
fair enough.
I've destroyed my memory,
Yeah,
and I'm happy
yeah,
with it.
yeah. Tell me about it. Okay, so let's put them on
Ryan
the
Dunn was a former PC guy, right?
Providence.
Yeah, isn't or is that's Chris Dunn?
That's
Okay, never
Chris
mind.
Dunn. Ryan Dunn played for
Sorry.
UVA, I think. And yeah, Ryan Dunn, speaking of, he sort of encapsulates this. We don't need to be talking about this team. He got fluffed the entire preseason. People kept talking about, oh my God, he can shoot now. He couldn't do that in college. Where did this come from? And then he came out and was just totally laid an egg in his debut. And it turns out the preseason isn't real. And I would love it if uh, basketball Reddit and Twitter stopped pretending if it was. The preseason means nothing, and surprise, this rookie class does already look kind of garbo. Okay.
Okay, so it looks like we did have Memphis low, so I respect my opinion when I was actually looking at the numbers more than me
Yeah.
just after one game and also after
The,
drafting a few of their
yeah,
players.
the Suns
I
are
think
probably
the
on like,
Suns will do better, and I think they're over to the left. I think they're
they're that ahead of the
around.
Sixers and the Bucks. I don't know.
No, the Sixers I just accidentally put there. The
Oh
Sixers
crap.
we
Where
haven't
are they
done yet.
supposed to be?
No, that we're just not on them yet.
Oh, we haven't?
Once I place
Oh
something
my
by
God, I'm
accident,
losing
I
my
can't put them
mind.
back.
We both have completely we are both mentally deficient, but in two completely different ways.
That's
In
right.
the sense that I don't know what the hell is going on anymore, and you have some kind of Rain Man condition with your charts and graphs for these episodes.
It's correct. I would say they're around. I do think they'll be fine. I'd say they're around here. I think the
I
vibes will be worse than the Cavs. I could even put them
Yeah,
with the Cavs. A
they're not with
half
the
step below the
Cavs.
Mavs.
I mean, they're closer to the Bucks or the Pacers to me. I don't think they're gonna do that well.
I don't hate that. I don't really enjoy them. Um,
Yeah,
I could put them right here. And
you
I would
think
even put them, I think they might deserve better.
you might deserve?
No,
Yeah,
I mean, they took a swing on Beal, but was really stupid.
it
So
was a
how do we
stupid
rank that?
swing. I don't rank that highly. I mean, they got rid of their old racist owner, but it sounds like this Ishbia guy's a crank too. I do like that he seems to have mortgage lending beef with Dan Gilbert. Rich guys are so fucking weird.
Oh yeah, they hate each other. There's like a Hatfield McCoy thing with
I
them.
know, I know. Did the Hatfields and McCoys end with them shooting each other? Because I would support that
I
in this
think it went down
instance.
like three generations and they shot a few people.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, how much do the Suns deserve suffering? I mean, they're one of these teams that I think has just never rated with me. And I think that that's sort of
I
true
think
with
it's
all
maybe just a little bit because it was so stupid to send everything on
for
Beal.
Beal. Yeah, yeah. You deserve they don't deserve suffering the way like the Warriors or the Heat or the
No,
Mavericks deserve suffering, but they deserve suffering for doing something dumb. They deserve suffering the way the Bulls deserve suffering. Like
they're
you are
they're like a
dumb,
middle
you're
schooler.
dumb.
They need a consequence, or else they're gonna keep pushing.
Yeah,
It's I don't
yeah.
I'm not mad. You just need this is what
That
happens.
they're like based off my experience, any child between the age of the third trimester and 24. It,
Yeah,
it does
that's
not
pretty
appear
much
to
exact.
ever get better. And
I might push that to 27 now. That for even that first year when you're off your parents' health insurance is still rocky. Then you maybe adjust.
I was out of law school at 26 and I sort of had to hit the ground running. I would say 25 is like the latest anyone will tolerate you being a fuck up. Let's say that much. But anyway, we're losing the thread here. The Suns, I think where you got them are fine.
Yeah, I think this is good. We
We've
should be talking less about this team.
I agree. I agree. So do we only have two teams left then now?
Three, but might be two for this episode, and then
Well,
we
we've got the
record
Sixers, we've got the Thunder. Who else
Magic.
we where are they?
They're I was playing around with these and they got stuck. I know,
You're
but
killing me.
I know.
Okay. Orlando. Orlando is no, Orlando's not. Wait,
Philly should be next, but we
Philly's
can
next.
do
Philly is
Orlando if
next.
you want.
Do we want to finish with the Sixers? We want to see how much time we have, right?
Sure, let's do Orlando.
Let's do. We're going to go out of order
I'll just
because
put
I
them here.
think we are pledged to do the less interesting teams first in these episodes, and I do think, with all due respect to Orlando, they are less interesting than the Sixers or the Thunder.
They are.
Um,
As an introduction, one last Bill Simmons thing.
mhm.
I know it's been a theme. Sorry about that. But I was listening to his podcast today because it's a fine work podcast because he won't say anything too crazy if my headphones malfunction. Um, which like I'm not listening to YKS at work. But
Yeah, I have made the mistake of having YKS on like when my car is hooked up to the aux and like my kids will be in the car and then it'll start auto playing when the car turns on. And like the
that dude, that
first thing,
happened to me at Gettysville, and I actually wrote into them and they
are you sure?
answered that one.
Gettysville?
Yeah, it's the battlefield, right?
Gettysburg. Gettysburg. You
Well,
are a school
whatever.
teacher. You have to know this. Come on.
I'm
But
tired.
yes,
It's
my
9:30.
story was, as I'm sure you knew where I was going, just like Jesse immediately saying fuck in front of my kids and just being like, well,
Well,
we're humming
don't be
now.
like him, kids. Anyway, so
Don't
I'm listening to Bill
don't be like
Simmons.
don't be like DB. Jesse is mostly normal. Please
That's
don't be
true.
like DB.
I love
DB is
DB. He's the man.
DB, you're very funny. If you ever hear this, you are one of the funniest people, but I think even you would acknowledge that your
You
life
don't
has been a
want your
roller
12-year-old
coaster.
girls to be like them, yeah.
No, no. All
Um,
right. The Orlando Magic, pull up their depth chart.
oh yeah. Just to say, Bill Simmons said that they took over Florida from the Miami Heat, and I immediately turned the show off. I was like, I'm not listening to this.
That's so
This is
bad. That's
that's
so
so
bad.
reactive.
Come
It's just stupid.
on, man. And if the
Um,
Timberwolves ever move to Tampa, I think Bill's burn. I feel like Bill is a Florida guy at heart, even though he likes living in LA. Am I
yeah.
wrong with that
No,
vibe?
that feels right, just without the conservatism. More of
Well,
a
to be fair though, I think there's a lot of truly scumbag conservatives who still don't reach the depth of like just your average Jacksonville
Floridian.
resident. Something has gone terribly wrong in Florida, and it's not going to improve. One thing that might improve, the Orlando Magic. I mean, they added a pretty good depth piece in Contavious Caldwell Pope, who is the subject of one of the funniest tweets ever, which was David Roth of Deadspin and Defector fame, commenting on the Pope's visit to New York City a few years ago and wanting to give a shout out to his cousin, Contavious Caldwell Pope, who was playing for the Pistons at the time, I think. But anyway, this is a team, I think, in the Cavs tier where it's like
Absolutely.
they are good. They will be, I think, generally good to watch for their fans, and they are not good enough. They're just not.
Yet,
Um,
though, yet,
yet,
I think
yet.
this team has the upside and a lot of time to grow.
This is true, but they need to find, like, I would say at a minimum, two guys who can shoot the three well. Like
For sure.
someone like Grayson, well, maybe not Grayson Allen, it's like Grayson Allen, but maybe like slightly better and more volume would be like two of those guys would be
A
perfect
more
for this team's
likable one.
bench
Sure.
depth. You don't even necessarily need to have them be that likable. I mean, I don't think like Dante DiVincenzo is that likable, but he would fit in great on this roster. But yeah, they have a bunch of really long guys who can handle the ball well. And but they're just not good long range shooters, and there's like four of them on the team, and it's and nobody their drafting has been really weird. I mean, Banchero, I think they nailed. He looks good. Wagner was a great pick. Franz Moritz has decent on the bench.
I like
But then
Suggs.
Suggs is weird because he was supposed to be like a number one option. Like I would say
Yeah,
almost
I
like an
know.
SGA guy. Instead, he's like a hustle, play a lot of D, go after every loose ball kind of guy. And it's
But he's
worked.
still just 23. He's 3 years younger than
I
Shea.
know, but he's about
I'm
to
not saying he's
go.
gonna become Shea, but
No, I
I
think
think there's a lot of upside on his
if he was
game.
going to become Shea, he would have been a different kind of player than he was last year. And again, good enough to have earned a $30 million a year contract. I think that's still a little rich, but we're still all adjusting to the new
Yeah, the
economics of
numbers.
basketball. But a lot of their draft picks just have not panned out. Cole Anthony, I think, is pretty well just a bust at this point, right? Isn't he pretty bad? Jet Howard, I never liked him at Michigan. I think he isn't anything right now. Anthony Black is just like a worse version of Jalen Suggs, who's like a little taller. I mean, which I guess makes sense for a backup, but you drafted him like seventh in a good draft and passed on guys who I think would have fit this team
I
structure
think of those
better.
guys, Black is the one who could develop.
Black
And
may turn into
come
something.
in.
And if
I
he ends
think
up,
Cole Anthony
yeah,
probably is
like if
gonna
Anthony
need to
Black,
go.
yeah, if Anthony Black turns into like Josh Hart ish, then like, yeah, I think that's a good pick. But again, like his skill set overlaps with, I would say, at least two other guys on the roster. And you just sort of go, who is there? Like, there, I will get you 40 points if need be guy. Like, who is the guy who can just do that and score at will? And I know that's not like all that common, but like I almost think someone like RJ Barrett might be decent on this team. I mean, I know that's weird, and he's a little too much of a black hole on offense, but like you get what I'm saying. Like, who is the scorer on this team? Because I just don't know if they have one.
I mean, Hello score. Suggs will score. I mean, I'm not sure they have a consistent big time basket
Yeah,
here, but I think there's a balance. I mean, I'm just thinking through Paolo. Like, he's still 21.
this is
He's
true.
gonna turn 22 soon. And while you were talking, I was just looking through the other 21-year-old starters in the league. It's like, Keontae George, Jeremy Sochan,
Yeah,
Brandon
that's
Miller,
fair. Yeah, that's
like
fair. But
Dyson
again,
Daniels.
but he was a first number one overall pick. He should be ahead of those guys. I mean, he's already been an all-star. He was rookie of the
Yeah,
year.
but
I
I mean,
mean,
that's the thing. I think he's going to keep developing at this
if there's
level and
if there's
become
a
very
third
good.
year leap in there, then yeah, maybe they have a true 1A star to build around. But I just think he's like he's sort of like Scotty Barnes to me. Like I think he's probably a little
You were
better,
telling me
but
how good Scotty Barnes was a day or two
I
ago.
know. Yeah, but
And
like
not
I don't
here I
think
was doubting.
but I don't think the Raptors are in the position to win a championship. And people are sort of hyping up the Magic as they could be this year's Pacers. They could make a
Well, they could
run.
be this year's Pacers
That's
and
fair.
make a
That's fair.
run. But I
That's
think the
fair.
Magic are circling 2027, 2028. It goes back to
Right.
everything I talk about with how
Right.
long these builds are. Like, probably two of these guys end up on the team that, theoretically raises the banner. It's
Yeah.
probably not that many. There are a lot of moves that are going to have to be made, but you
Yeah.
have to build slowly. And I've been kind of thinking about actually doing research and like making a real video, which I don't do much
Yeah.
on
That would
rebuilds,
doing
right?
all of
Doing
the
something
reading
seriously
for a
would
change would
be
be
fun, not like saying Gettysville, would be good. But like, I think there's a lot of selection bias around tanking. We will get into this with the Sixers, probably not as deep as because it's been covered, but tanking, the slow build might be just as successful as the tank tear it down build strategy. I'm not sure. Like, they've gotten their number one pick and now they need to make slow incremental progress that will take 7 years. It's very rare for there to be a quick fix on these things. I mean,
yeah.
sports are way more hopeless than I think the leagues want us to believe. They want to sell that you can turn it around quick, but it takes a while to turn these teams around, and I think they're doing a good job. And I'm pretty high on the Magic in general. They
All
also beat
right.
the Celtics a bunch, but they're over under, I believe it's 46 and a half. It's 47 and a half,
Hmm.
which is a bit higher than I
That's
would have
rich. I
guessed.
mean,
But I like it still.
that's
I
an
wouldn't bet it.
under, but they're like a 45 under. So
For
it's a
what's worth, the juice is still on the over, so the money's coming in on over.
yeah. Anyway,
I have
let's
this
shift
team
to the
firmly
index.
deserving. I have them firmly in this area.
Even factoring in their ownership group.
I will put them down. I
Yeah,
will I will bring them down.
I don't want to be
I
so
put them.
egomaniacal as to read the entirety of what I wrote about the Divas family when I wrote
We have a little bit of time.
a mock draft from 2023 where I just sort of wrote up a satirical take on it. All I'm going to say is just the Devoses are truly evil even among a sports set. Um I'm trying to think what the exact phrase I used. Wait 1 second here.
While you're looking, I will say there's also the
Oh yeah,
Disney
yeah.
connection.
Here it was. I was talking about how the Magic had gotten a pick from the Chicago Bulls from the Nikola Vukovic trade, and then that pick turned into Franz Wagner, and then who did they draft in 23 with that pick? I don't actually remember. They drafted
Black
they okay. I think they ended
was
up
it
with
Anthony
Anthony
Black?
Black. So yeah, so it didn't work out Oh
Yeah,
no,
pick six, Anthony
That
Black.
was the Jet Howard pick. So it didn't really work out for them. But I did point out that the Bulls had fallen so far that they were getting clowned on by a team owned by a family that think learning any words that aren't present in the King James Bible should be punishable by some kind of yacht-based slavery. That sums up the Devoses. They are people who have spent their entire lives scamming people dumber than them. They used that wealth to buy a crucial cabinet position in the first Donald Trump administration. They used that position to help install sort of the current decayed educational standards that I think we're still dealing with. They are bad people, like even by sports ownership standards, they are people who exist purely to
I would
enrich
say even by
themselves at the
Republican
suffering.
cabinet member
Yep. I would agree
standards,
with
they're
that. I would
bad.
say even by that standard,
They're like D tier on the Trump cabinet. Um,
yeah,
and that's yeah,
yeah.
that's not great.
So I would, yeah. I mean, beyond that, though, I mean, Orlando seems like a city that has existed for its stars just to prosper elsewhere. The biggest, of course, being Shaquille
Jack,
O'Neal. To
Dwight.
the extent that they have any real fans, I mean, they probably deserve a team that keeps everybody in house and competes. Yeah, certainly below the Cavs. I mean, I would probably bump them a little closer to the line
Yeah, I
personally.
can.
No,
What
no, no, lower,
line?
lower, lower. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, like
fine putting them
right
here.
there. You know, but I
Fine going in on
think
the DeVoses,
yeah, but I think
DeVos, whatever.
there's nothing inherently noxious about anybody on the team or the well, Jonathan Isaac's a weirdo, isn't he? But whatever. He barely plays. And if you're yeah, you can't get too caught up with the
Isaac even still
politics.
there?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, he's still there.
You can't get too caught up with the politics of individual players until you get into like Kurt Schilling territory. Yeah, I think where you have the Magic makes sense. They're not going to prosper. They don't really deserve prosperity, but they're fine. They're a quad one team. So okay, how much
What I
time do we
think
have?
we
Oh,
might
sorry, go
do
ahead.
is stop here, take 10, and come back and finish up and put it all out as one episode.
Okay, are you able to? Okay,
Yeah, I'm
all
able
right,
to do that.
okay. Well, because the last two teams, I think both of us want to speak on them pretty
I don't want to
extensively.
take less than 7 minutes on the Sixers.
Oh yeah, yeah, we don't have enough time. So we will come back. This is our ad break. I'm going to tell you about Factor Meals and then and are they still selling those Quip toothbrushes?
I
You
could
don't hear
use a
about
new
those anymore.
toothbrush.
I could probably use a toothbrush that actually tells me how long my dumbass is supposed to brush
I
for because
have
I
one of
just
those. It's
it does
nice.
I may look into that. I may look at that
It
for my
buzzes,
kids.
but it's
Yeah.
also too it doesn't buzz enough now.
So
This
well
is
you do need a
like
new one. Well, we need to
I
get
sound really
sponsored.
stupid on this podcast, I'm realizing, like through these 4 episodes. I sound like a really dumb, like I
People
promise I'm more put together than this in real life.
people need to grade us on the curve that we're doing these at 9:30 at night on a weekday. Both of us in our own way deal with children literally all day. It's we're fucking
We're
exhausted
talking
by the
about the
time we
buzzing
get to
brush.
this.
All right, I'm stopping the
Yeah,
recording.
stop it.
We will see you in 10 seconds.